It's Saturday. Good morning. Uh, that 63-year-old predator, wolf in sheep's clothing. I would not even give him the title of a bishop or a pastor that married that 18-year-old child that he groomed, that he was looking at since she was 14 years old, married her right after she graduated high school. Yes, I know y'all been wanting to talk about it. I just needed to do some research. Hold on, Lord. Drop my slippers. I just needed to do some research. But we need to talk about it. And I wanted to kind of gather as much data as I possibly can. So I'm gonna do about 2 or 3 video this today, tomorrow, about this situation because we need to talk about it. I was also doing some more research this morning, and I see that some churches and named bishops are coming out and calling him out. So I really appreciate that. So we're going to talk about that. This is what I mean about protecting our children. This is what I mean about praying for our children. I need to get this book out. Praying for our children. I want to thank you for your love and support. Thank you for your 17,000 subscribers, cousins. I really appreciate y'all. I love you. I adore you. Thank you for everything you've done. I know I haven't done a live in a while, but I have a surprise for you. My surprise is gonna make up for me not coming live. Okay. Book coming out. I just got the final copy from my formatter last night, aka this morning. So I'm about to upload it after this. I also have a free ebook in my Patreon. I'm going to upload it after this, just for my Patreons only. If you are in my Patreon, you will get this free ebook talking about the Leah in me. You remember Leah, Laban's daughter, the ugly daughter that nobody wanted to marry. Everyone wanted to marry Rachel. So if you are in my Patreon, you will get that free. So if you haven't joined my Patreon, be sure to show me some love and support. That's another way for you to support me on a monthly basis, is to check out my Patreon, the membership over there. You get the books for free when they come out. So everybody that's in my Patreon, I have 3 books coming out very soon. I have this Bible study, How to Read Your Bible in 1 Year, the Women's Journal, and then I have a men's journal. All of those books, everyone in my Patreon will get them for free. Okay. And then I have the dating book that's already edited, and I just need to review my edits, and then I will be getting that very soon out. So check my Patreon out. Okay. Also, I post a lot of stuff in there that I don't post over here. And I'm going to be starting to do some videos over there so I could really go off, because this situation is a situation I really need to go off, but I can't really do that over here on YouTube because, YouTube is pretty restricted on what you can say. So be sure to check my Patreon out. So y'all have seen this. Everybody's seen it. This 63-year-old crusty, dusty predator, wolf in sheep's clothing criminal. He's a criminal. I was researching. This man's been back and forth, allegedly, according to the articles, according to what I'm hearing. This criminal been back and forth in jail. Okay, back and forth in jail. He's a trickster. He grooms young women. He's been married 3 times. Poor little 18-year-old is wife number 4. Apparently, this predator who was divorced 3 times. You can't counsel me you've been divorced 3 times. I don't think so. 1 time, okay, because a lot of people get married young and the marriage don't work out. When you get married the second time, you have to get it right. You can't make the same mistakes you made at 1 time. So if they've been divorced 1 time, I'll overlook it, because a lot of people got married very young. Got married at 18 and 19. You don't know nothing about being no wife or no husband. Then when you finally grow up, you get divorced. A lot of these shows we're watching, that's what happened. They get married young. They get into their 30s and 40 outgrow each other, and all of a sudden he start looking somewhere, and he want him a new woman. Okay, this criminal predator who's been back and forth in jail has a habit of grooming young women. He was in the home counseling her parents who were going through a divorce. While this predator was counseling the parent, he's had his eyes on this little girl. I read an article where he said, God said, this is my wife. Hold up. You've had 3 wives before. Did God say any of them were your wife? He also says he's been waiting on her for 4 years. So this girl who is 18 years old, 4 years ago, you was 59. At 59 years old, you were having your predator, wolf in sheep's clothing, rapist eyes on a 14-year-old girl. Who, by the way, also attended his school, y'all. This girl attended this man's school. He was the dean over the school. So this picture is at the graduation. And her trifling, probably, possibly also a predator daddy, walked her down the aisle. There is no way you are a father of a daughter, 18-year-old. You gonna walk your 18-year-old daughter down the aisle to give away to a 63-year-old predator criminal, wolf in sheep's clothing man, unless you're doing the same thing. Birds of a feather flock together. My father, Bishop Pratt, he wouldn't. If some old behind 60-year-old man came, my father would have been in jail. I'm telling you. I guarantee you Bishop Bradshaw would have been in jail. Bishop would have been in jail. Because for you to even open up your mouth to think at 63, you're going to marry my 18-year-old daughter? And you know why the father allow it? I guarantee you, he's probably doing the same thing. Probably doing the same thing, because there's no way in your right mind you think it's okay for your daughter, your child, your baby, to be married to a 63-year-old man. This man is past retirement age. And the church folks, the delusional church folks who are rallying around, oh, congratulations. Oh, it's my new first lady. The girl is 18, probably can't even wipe her ass right. Huh? Probably ain't wiping her behind right. And the more this stuff come out, is that he's been going from state to state, and he has been accused before of molesting other little girls. He is a predator. This man is a predator. I'm going to come back because we have some new revelations that I'm just finding out late last night. Well, late this morning while I was up doing some more researching and Googling and right after the graduation, this man married this girl that the daddy walked down the aisle and the mother was against it. See, this why I know some of y'all have problems with some of this stuff I say and talk about forgiveness. This is why I don't do criminals. You are a criminal. Criminals are criminals. That's who they are. Unless God really deliver and set them free, that's who they are. They commit crimes. And this man has been a criminal, back and forth to jail, grooming young girls, stealing church's money, stole from his family. This man stole his whole families. His father was big time bishop. He stole their whole estate for himself. When his dad died, he had his mother to sign over everything she has to him. First of all, you go to court, they're going to throw that out for $1. Sign it over to the church that he's passing for $1. Now you tell me, you have several children and you're going to just turn everything you have over to the church? And this is why it's important for us to write wills and have wills and last will and testament ready. Because when you are not in your right mind, somebody can come in and swoop him and take everything out. Then, y'all, once his mother died, he had the church to sign it back over into his name for $1. So he stole the whole family estate. And I blame the daddy. Because why didn't you have a will, sir? Why didn't you have everything written out? Just like that foolish woman in New York. Remember that foolish first lady in New York? 33, 30, married this old behind 60-year-old man. Talk about, I thought it was God. You're 30. It's not God's will for you to marry no 60-year-old man. What the hell is 60-year-old man going to do for your 30-year-old? No, have no kids. Then the wolf, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I know all of y'all know who I'm talking. And if you come over here in your feelings, I will block you because you know your pastor was a predator too. Then he died, girl. No will, no, he ain't left nothing for the wife. And the church gave her a year to stay in the apartment, in the house. And after a year, the new pastor won the church. I want the house. I had a problem with that. It was her husband's responsibility to plan ahead and make sure your wife is taken care of when you're not here. For one first thing, when me and Mike get ready, got married, do paperwork. But his job is a job where they stay on that stuff. You are now married. You need to put this over into your wife's name. And my husband said, babe, make sure if anything happened to me, make sure you take care of my mama, my daddy. I said, write it down. And any money they have to take out any money, the spouse has to sign it. I approve my husband taking out this amount of money. So with him being a criminal, being able to crook and steal from the rest of his siblings, I blame the daddy. But I want to know what y'all got to say. And I'm going to come back and talk about a couple of bishops who start to call them out. Because apparently this is something that's popular in the apostolic church. And this is another thing for y'all pick-meishas and dust-meishas who come over here and finding fault about my content. When I say, you've got to be born again. You got to be in the same, we have to believe the same thing. Like, I could not go to apostolic churches. And another thing, these preachers that's been criminals and stuff, I don't sit under them. Oh, gosh, who you are. Because a lot of them go to jail, find Jesus, come out, and is pastor in churches because they don't have a revelation, but they have not been renewed. They're the same criminals. That's why let me tell you, if I find out I'm going to a church and the pastor been locked up for some crime he committed, I'm gone. Now, I'm not talking about Martin Luther King, because I know some of y'all trifling heifers is going to say, what about Dr. Martin Luther King? I'm not talking about you out here fighting for freedom and free speech and right to vote, and they lock you up. To me, that's not a crime. I'm talking about you killing somebody, you're robbing a bank, you was a bum, you was a drug lord. I don't date people like that. Once I find out you got a criminal record like that, goodbye. I don't do criminals, because that's who you are. Do I think people can change? No, I don't think people can change. I think God can change someone if they allow it. But the thing is, let me tell you about criminals and people like that, okay? It's like they are like people who have issues with let me use something that's not offensive. Let's say you have, I'll use myself. I've been anemic for years, right? They don't know what it is. So I have to consistently take my iron pills. When I take my iron pills, y'all, I'm good. My blood is fine. My blood come up. It's right where it needs to be, the average 14, whatever. When I don't take my iron pills, it drops. And so last year when I went to do my physical, I forgot about my iron pills. I haven't been taking them, because I said I was going to find some gummy bear iron pills. I cannot deal with the pills, right? Totally forgot. So now the doctor says, Miss Thompson, your blood is low again. We're going to have to send you to go do this. And so I decided, well, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to just be consistent with taking my pills, okay? As long as I'm consistent taking my iron pills, I'm fine. Now, I take vitamins and supplements and all that. But the iron pills, I just can't. They stink. They taste bad. They leave a bad taste in your mouth, and they make your pee yellow. And so what I'm realizing is, I was talking to the girls at the job, is when I was pregnant, I didn't have no problems. My blood was perfect. And it hit me. I was taking those prenatal vitamins that have everything in it you need. And my doctor had to write to my insurance to get they call pearl pills, because I could not swallow the big old pills like that. The big old vitamin prenatal care, I couldn't swallow them. So my doctor had to write to my insurance, and they approved. They was going back and forth for them to approve what is called these little pearl pills, and my blood was fine. So I have to be consistent in taking my iron pills. Everything else is fine. My vitamin D is fine. I don't like the sun. The doctor said, Janice, your vitamin D is low. I go and found me some vitamin D gummy bear pills, and I'm fine. I can't find no gummy bear iron pills. So I just ordered me some pills the other day, and I'm taking them, and then I'm going to go back in 2 months and get my blood tested again. So as long as I'm consistent taking my pills, I'm fine. As long as the reformed criminal is consistent with staying before God, they're fine. If they don't keep that thing on the altar, they're going to revert to who they are. So that's why I don't mess with criminals or people. I don't mess with it, because that's who you are. And you have to keep your foot on the neck of that. That's why I just prefer somebody who's had a clean past, who is about the business, about generational wealth, about being a good man, about being a good member of society, about leaving an inheritance for your children. That's the type of man I want, who's about the business, who is like me. I can't be with no criminal who you spend half your life committing crimes, and all of a sudden you went to jail and you don't found Jesus and know you're a bishop. I can't do it, because that's who you are. Again, if any man be in Christ, he's a new creature, a new creation. However, you got to keep your foot on that stuff, and people don't keep their foot on this stuff, just like me with my iron pills. You understand what I mean? As long as I take my iron pills, I'm consistent. I'm good. So you have to be consistent. Every day. I said, Janice, you have to take these pills I have it right here. It says right here by my computer. So every morning when I come down, it's sitting right here and I take it. No matter how bad it tastes, I drink it with some juice so it could taste better. And see, a lot of people are not consistent with keeping their necks on their struggle. We all have struggle, but you have to consistently keep your foot on it. And I don't trust you to keep your foot on it. So it's just best for me to choose somebody who has a clean slate. So for me personally, he couldn't be my bishop. He couldn't be my pastor. You've been in jail too many times. You're a criminal at heart. I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna make another video about a new revelation we just found out. I love you. Let me know what you think. Are you in this church? Ladies and gentlemen, born again believers, are you in churches where you know the pastor's doing crooked stuff? Are you in this church where your pastor's sexuality is questionable? Watch my other video about that Daryl Darkins. That he knew he was on camera. He looked right in the camera. I couldn't be in no church like that. I couldn't do it. All right, I love you. Remember, check my Patreon out. Listen, my sales this month for these books. I know y'all waiting for the new books. It's coming. So if you haven't shown me love, in this book I talk about wolves in sheep's clothing. I have a new book coming that I need to write. God gave this book to me years ago. I have the cover and everything's beautiful cover of predators in the church. All right. I love you. I have to go, beloved. See you later. Bye.